Welcome to Mukesh Manoharan Studio. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon before we proceed. Imagine the quiet solitude of a room long after the sun has set. The rest of the world has gone to sleep, and the only source of light is the cold, sharp glow of your computer monitor illuminating your face. You are a creator. You build worlds from nothing but logic and keystrokes. Yet, in this exact moment, you aren't creating. You're battling. You're locked in a silent struggle with your code editor, feeling the precious seconds and minutes of your life slipping away to repetitive tasks, manual labor, and endless frustration. This is the developer time trap. It's a heavy, invisible weight that pulls us away from the art of programming and sinks us into the mud of administration. But it doesn't have to be this way. Let's explore a different path, a way to reclaim our lives, our energy, and our passion for the craft.
You know that feeling, don't you? You feel the exhaustion settling deep in your bones. It's the physical toll of endless, repetitive typing, the exact same boilerplate structures written out for the 1,000th time. It's the agonizing, focus-shattering routine of having to abandon your editor to scour the vast, chaotic expanse of the internet for a simple answer, only to return to your code with your train of thought completely derailed. It leaves us drained. But out of this exhaustion rises a profound question. A mystery that ripples through the very core of our daily grind. How can you realistically, tangibly save 10 whole hours a week while coding? Just pause for a moment. Let the sheer magnitude of that number wash over you. 10 hours. Reclaiming 10 entire hours every single week. We aren't talking about a marginal little productivity hack here. We are talking about a massive, life-altering shift. That is a full, uninterrupted night of restful sleep returned to you. That is an entire Sunday reclaimed for your family, your hobbies, or just sitting quietly with your own peace of mind. By adopting the right tools, not just piling on random extensions, but deliberately choosing the profound few that fundamentally alter how we interact with our machines, we can breathe life back into our weeks. The heavy, dark tone of our work shifts, it transforms from drudgery into a hopeful, energetic rhythm of creation. We stop being victims of the clock, and we become the true masters of our digital domains.
To find those 10 hours, we are going to journey through the natural, continuous life cycle of your software. We'll start by drafting the logic, then we'll clean up the inevitable mess, hunt down the hidden mistakes, delicately connect our project's architecture, and finally, experience the joy of viewing the living, breathing final product.
So let's take that first step. We begin where every great journey begins, drafting the code. Standing before the intimidating expanse of the blank canvas. There is a unique terror in starting a new file. It's a void staring back at you, cold and demanding. You know the brilliant logic you want to write, but between you and that brilliant logic lies a massive mountain of tedious, uninspiring setup. But what if you weren't alone in the dark? Imagine a loyal, brilliant companion sitting right beside you, watching your screen. A presence that anticipates your very needs, understanding the essence of what you're trying to build before the thought has even fully formed in your mind. This is GitHub Copilot. It's an AI coding assistant that breathes literal life into your JavaScript, your Python, or your labyrinth-like SQL queries. It transforms the lonely, isolating act of typing into a beautiful, synchronized dance between human intent and artificial brilliance. The contrast is staggering. Think about the agonizing reality of how we used to work. The jarring break in your flow state every time you had to open a browser, frantically searching forums every few minutes, desperately hunting for a tiny snippet of logic just to parse a date or calculate a sum. Now, imagine a world where you simply type a descriptive intent, something like calculate monthly expense, and within a heartbeat, a beautifully structured, complete function just materializes right before your eyes. The time saved here isn't measured in minutes. It's measured in unbroken focus. You are no longer acting as a translator for the machine. You are an architect solving real human problems. And as we continue to unlock these secrets to a better workflow, I'd like to gently remind you to take a brief moment to like this video and share it with a fellow developer who might be drowning in endless browser tabs right now.
But creation is inherently messy. Once the brilliant rush of drafting subsides, we must step back and face the reality of what we've written. We must tame the chaos.
We have all felt that sudden drop in our stomach. You open a file, maybe it's a teammate's code, or perhaps, embarrassingly, it's your own code from 6 months ago, and you just stare at it in sheer disbelief. You struggle to comprehend the logic, not because the logic is flawed, but simply because the visual formatting is wildly, maddeningly inconsistent. It is a universal, silent agony.
Messy indentation creates an illusion of structure that doesn't actually exist, leading your eyes down the wrong path. It sparks arguments over trivial things and leads to those absolute nightmares of endless Git conflicts that devour our afternoons.
But out of that visual chaos emerges the ultimate peacemaker, an extension called Prettier. It doesn't judge your code, it simply brings absolute harmony. With a single elegant keyboard shortcut, or better yet, happening entirely invisibly in the background the moment you hit save, it instantly standardizes every single indentation, every space, and every bracket. It acts as an uncompromising visual editor, bringing beautiful, professional standardization to every line you write. The noise is instantly subdued. You and your team can finally breathe, focusing entirely on what the code actually does, rather than being distracted by how it looks.
With the code formatted and beautiful, we plunge into the deep, dark woods of our journey. We enter the suspenseful phase of catching mistakes and hunting down the hidden bugs. Bugs are the invisible monsters of our profession. They are tiny, insidious errors lurking in the shadows of our logic, silently waiting to collapse our entire application at the worst possible moment. Typically, they hide out. But what if you had a lantern in that dark room? Enter Error Lens. It is like a sudden, illuminating flash of brilliant light. Instead of hiding your mistakes away in a tiny, easily ignored panel buried at the very bottom of your screen, Error Lens violently pulls them to the surface. It displays syntax errors, warnings, and missing variables directly in line right next to your code, exactly on the line where the transgression occurred. Feel the immense relief that washes over you when this happens. On one side of history, you have the tedious misery of manually digging through a Hidden Problems tab, mentally cross-referencing tiny line numbers, and completely losing your context. On the other side, you have the pure, immediate clarity of seeing exactly what is broken the very fraction of a second you type it. It removes the mystery. It politely introduces the mistake to you instantly, so you can correct it and keep moving without ever breaking your stride. And as we shine a light on these hidden flaws, remember that if you are enjoying this atmospheric dive into mastery, make sure you've subscribed to the channel to join us on many more journeys just like this one. Our logic is drafted, cleaned, and debugged. Now we must engage in the delicate, structural work. We must connect the architecture and build the bridges. This is the fragile phase where our isolated components need to talk to one another. In massive projects, sprawling React applications, or deeply nested Node.js backends, this is where the cognitive load becomes unbearable. You sit there, frozen, staring at an import statement. You rack your brain, trying to mentally navigate a complex directory structure. You whisper to yourself, was it ./component/header, or was components plural? You take a guess, you hit save, and the entire screen explodes into a wall of red text because of one single missing letter. It is a deeply frustrating limitation of our human memory, constantly halting our progress. This is where we introduce our invisible guide, an extension called Path IntelliSense. It acts as a perfect, infallible memory for your project's labyrinth. The very moment you type that first dot and slash, it steps in. It automatically suggests the correct paths, the right folders, and the exact file names. It entirely eliminates the heavy burden of structural memory. You never have to guess again. No more spelling mistakes, no more architectural collapses. It just gently holds your hand, guiding you flawlessly through the complex web of your own creation.
And now, after all that careful preparation, we arrive at the threshold of the most rewarding stage. It is time to view the final product and truly bring it to life.
This is the joyful culmination of the entire journey. This is the magical moment where the cold, static lines of logic finally converge, rendering into a living, breathing application on your screen. Yet historically, even this beautiful moment was tarnished by a soul-crushing manual repetition. The endless, agonizing cycle of editing, saving, switching windows, and manually clicking that tiny refresh button over and over and over again. It is a rhythm that slowly drains the joy from building. Enter Live Server, the final, elegant heartbeat of our environment. It is an extension that breathes continuous life into your work by automatically, instantly reloading your browser the exact moment you save your code. It transforms the experience entirely. You are no longer grinding away at manual refreshes. Instead, you experience the pure, unbroken fluidity of a master painter. You mix your colors, you edit your code, you hit save, and the canvas updates instantaneously before your very eyes. You never switch tabs. The feedback loop between your mind, your fingers, and the final application becomes instantaneous and deeply, deeply satisfying. If this vision of a frictionless, joyful workspace resonates with you, make sure you've pressed that bell icon so you never miss a chapter of our ongoing exploration together.
But as we approach the end of this journey, the air must change. I must impart a vital, final lesson. A word of caution regarding quality over quantity.
In the rush and excitement of discovering all these incredibly powerful tools, it is dangerously easy to fall into a trap. The temptation is to hoard, to furiously download every shiny new extension that promises to shave another millisecond off your day. But I warn you with the utmost sincerity that this path leads to ruin. Stuffing your editor full of every tool you find will only bog it down, transforming your sleek, responsive sanctuary into a sluggish, heavy burden, packed with visual noise and endless pop-up distractions. True mastery does not come from the sheer volume of tools you possess. It comes from the intentional, careful, almost sacred curation of a very small, remarkably high-quality set of solutions. In this space, quality will always, without exception, defeat quantity. Protect the peace of your workspace.
We have walked through a cinematic landscape today, discovering 5 true guardians of your productivity. GitHub Copilot, the brilliant AI mind drafting quietly alongside you. Prettier, the unwavering peacekeeper maintaining your visual harmony. Error Lens, the brilliant spotlight illuminating the hidden dangers in the dark. Path IntelliSense, the invisible guide through your architectural labyrinth. And Live Server, the silent, beating heart that instantly brings your creations to life. Together, they strip away the abrasive friction of manual labor. They clear the fog, allowing you to focus deeply, emotionally, and exclusively on the pure art of your craft.
As the monitor's glow softens and our journey comes to a close, it is my deepest, most sincere hope that you can take these guardians, reclaim those precious 10 hours every single week, and pour them back into the things that truly matter in your life. I leave you with one final thought to ponder in the quiet. Which of these powerful tools will save you the most time starting today? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for staying with me through this journey. Until next time, take care.